What's good, fight fans? It's your man 3K the Boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up. You already know what it is. Man, we gonna get this shit a minute to populate. But as always, for those people who ain't gonna get here for the live, shout out to the motherfucking playback gang, no sponsor gang. And as always, man, shout out to your motherfucking self for just waking up this motherfucking morning, man. Let's get to it. I figure, fuck it, man. We're gonna keep cooking, man. We're gonna talk about this Caleb Plant shit, man, because I think this is one dude. This is one dude who's skated by and has got to fucking skate by for a very fucking long time without fighting fucking anyone. And I don't think anybody said anything about it. They be perfectly honest. Shout out to IBFP. He said some things, me, I was already leaning that way. And all the other people that I respect that were talking to Caleb playing shit, I was already kind of leaning that way as well. But I needed more shit to come. I needed him to say more shit, and I needed more shit to come out via Fight Hype, Fight Hub, whatever, all type of journal outlets, it's just so I could put together the shit the way I needed to put together the shit, so I could formulate it the way I needed to, so I can give it to y'all the way it needed to be portrayed, because it's a whole lot of cap with that dude, man. It's a whole lot of cap with that dude, and he's been able to finesse his way through this, this thing we call boxing, the sport that everybody should be pulled up by their motherfucking record and be held to that shit. Yo, your record is everything, bro. When you look back on it, I don't care how many people you finessed, how many people you faked on or whatever. The one thing that won't lie is when people go back and pull up your resume on what you did when it comes to the Boxing Hall of Fame. So I think if, we start holding niggas' feet to the fire right now and start pulling people up the way we should have, the way people used to pull people up and hold people to certain standards since the beginning of time in boxing, I think we will have less of these problems. And maybe it'll get motherfuckers out of these stuttering Stanley ass personas when they ask these tough questions, and they just put up and shut up in the motherfucking boxing match, because we're not getting a whole lot of that. But yeah, man, shout out to Caleb planting the shitty ass fucking record, bro, because I think, for a long time, people been letting this dude live off of Jose Utsukagi and that win and this so-called quote-unquote boogeyman, because if anybody knows anything about Jose Utsukagi, he is no boogeyman. I mean, what's his best win on his record? Andre Durrell? I repeat, what is Jose Utsukagi's best win on his record? Andre Durrell? All right, I'm just saying. So when you calling yourself a boogeyman and you running around and this is the person that you got the strap off of, and you acting like this is a reason for you to fucking be fighting bums. And then here's another thing too that I noticed. The undefeated that O that's sitting behind people's record, yo, that shit don't mean nothing, bro. It doesn't mean nothing, bro. Because once again, when we go back and we look at all the greats, and when it comes time to pull up a person's resume, just because there's an O there, and you look at a whole bunch of fucking tomato cans, that just tells you, bro, that niggas been getting away with walking around just not getting their ass whooped by nobody significant. I'd rather see a guy with a couple of marks on his record that's been in the ring with significant guys than a guy who hasn't been in the ring with anybody and just has a no. Because that's exactly what Mike Lee is. He was a 170, he's been 175 pound his whole career, coming down to 168 pounds to fight Caleb Plant for the first fucking time. And he was never anybody at 175. What has he done? Win a USAF belt? Hello. He has fought nobody. Nobody even knows who that guy is. It's kind of like, Mike Lee is no different than Steve Rose. Mike Lee, Steve Rose. The scales don't tip. They are even in every sense. They're even in every way you could think of. I'm going to tell you why. Because Triple G tried to pull that same shit, and I'm gonna shout motherfuckers out in a minute because I know I'm sure it's people in here now. Triple G did that same shit on his debut for the zone. What did he do when he could have fought Demetrius Andrade? What did he choose to do? He fought Steve Rose, a guy who was what? He was 19 and 0. What was he like? 19 and 0, 20 and 0 at the time? I don't think Steve Rose had no more than 20 something fights. I mean, this is a guy coming out of Canada. The same Canada that Lennox Lewis gets shit for when he was trying to avoid competition. No disrespect to Canada. I'm just saying. These are the facts. This guy came up out of Canada with an undefeated record just to get in the ring with Triple G. And the sad thing is he was actually touching Triple G up. So shout out to Steve Rose for putting hands on this guy. When Triple G tried to walk in and just finesse the knockout, even though he did knock him out, I mean, Triple G did get touched, if that says anything about that shit. But I'm just saying, once again, who is Mike Lee? When you mention Mike Lee's name and you say he's a guy who comes down, that's another excuse they try to use. They say, oh, he was a guy at 175 and he came down to 168. Now, this dude fought at 175 his whole career, comes down to 168. We already know it's tough as fuck for him to cut weight. He was probably extra dehydrated, jumping in the ring with you just to get his ass whooped for a fucking check, just so you could make that excuse that he was a 175-pound fighter. That shit don't mean nothing. Nobody knows who the fuck Mike Lee is. Nobody know who Vincent Feigenboots is. And you got to pull motherfuckers up and let people know that. And that WBA interim title that he fucking held for a hot second, a New York fucking minute, back in 2016, for you even to be bringing this guy's name up. And to believe it or not, Vincent Feigenboots is probably better than the other fighters that I mentioned. Sad enough to say, and he ain't did shit. He's literally done nothing. But that just goes to show you Caleb Plant has done nothing. So how the fuck has Caleb Plant skated this long without anybody applying any type of pit bull lockjaw level pressure to this fool? Shout out to everybody in the building. Timmy Neal and salute. Chain with the ice though. With the ice though. Martin Ramos salute. Wayne Henney salute, my guy. Mickey Dub. Chin Smoke. Salute, Smoke. Proud father. What the business is. The Bronze Plumber. STC. Shaka Training Club in the building. Champ Raw salute. My man said when he hear Mike Lee, he think of Subway. Bro, I feel you. I feel you. My biggest problem with this guy is, man, he's a big problem with what we got going on with this whole 168 pound division, man. Now, look, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about David Benavidez not making weight, being too, you know what I'm saying, not making weight for his fucking last fight. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about David Benavidez sniffing coke or whatever. People could try to make all of them excuses that's based off of fucking media propaganda and all of that other shit because they trying to do everything to keep David Benavidez away from certain people at 168 pounds. But let's be absolutely serious here. David Benavidez is equivalent to Jason Voorhees in a 1985 slasher film when it comes to these 168-pound fighters right now. Shout out to King Nello, but outside of King Nello, I feel like that guy is David Benavidez. Man, look, man, I done watched a lot of boxing, man, and there's a few people that really excite me like that, and that is one guy that really excites me, and I'm not talking no favoritism here. I'm talking about dog. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about motherfucking dog, and it ain't a lot of motherfuckers that got motherfucking dog in them, and that's one dude that's got motherfucking dog. I kind of equate like David Benavidez to kind of like my 168-pound Miguel Burchell. Leave the shape and all of that shit up out of it. I'm just talking about in the way they work their offensive attack. The way they, you know, of course, Burchell is a lot more explosive and a lot at a higher rate, but it don't stop. It's so good that it almost becomes a fucking defense. And when he really pours it on, it becomes a fucking nightmare for the other opponent, and they just become completely flustered and disconnected from what's going on in the match, and they just start getting beat up. And then they don't realize what the fuck is going on, and by the end of it, they hitting the floor. All I'm saying is, if you got a motivated David Benavidez, which David Benavidez is up a Big Bear right now, highly motivated. If you got a motivated David Benavidez right there, the youngest, two-time a superweight middleweight champion to do it in the game, WBC holder, two-time over. If you've got this guy sitting there right now that is available to fight you, and you mean to tell me that this kid is fighting Golden, Caleb Truax, who was supposed to be fighting freaking Alfredo Angulo in an eliminator over the freaking summer, and he freaking can't make the fight due to hydration issues. And truthfully, what I heard is he passed all the way the fuck out. And this is the person and you fighting him, Mister. I won't fight anybody but a champion or a mandatory, and ain't nobody holding his feet to the fire for that shit. Come on, man. How stupid do you got to be? And this is how they try to take fans, bro. Like, Caleb Plant is all the way garbage, man. He all the way garbage. And this dude just been able to skate by, bro. He always, and then he talk this dodgy David Benavidez shit like he want to fight this dude when the camera get on him. But when it, but he really don't want it, though. He's dodged it for 4 years. 2 years ago, when he was calling David Benavidez the best offensive fighter in the world, when he was sucking him off, when he was in his presence, and I don't like Ellie. I don't like Ellie not one bit. But sometimes when you watch it, it don't matter what you watch. You can get some truth out of certain shit that you don't necessarily fuck with. And that was one interview that was highly telling for me. Because what was the first thing that came out of Caleb's mouth? I know you want to fight me. Do you think? Not, I want to fight you. Do you think? Do you think? Do you think I want to fight you? So he's just telling you, bro. He telling you, bro. He know what time it is for real. And if he really wanted that smoke, he would have never asked that man, does he think he want to fight him? Because he already know David want to fight him. He confirmed that. The first thing that came out of his mouth when he walked up on him. And look at that dude. Look at him standing in front of each other, too. Just his whole presence foreshadows everything about Caleb Plant. Makes that nigga look small as fuck. And for a guy that big, he is hella fast. And shout out Ray Boom Boom Mancini, because, hey, if that's what he believed, that's what he believed. And what he happens to believe right now, I find to be facts. Well, I don't know to be facts, but I think if they fought, I would put all of my money down on a Vegas bet with David Benavidez knocking him the fuck out, stopping him and stifling him with his power. So, yeah, I'm with Boom Boom on that, because I think that is an awful matchup for Caleb as well. Because when you are a slick boxer puncher, I don't care who you are, what division you're in, or what you got going on. If you're a slick boxer puncher, the number one thing you need to be able to do to stop a fighting style like that is you gotta bite down, grit, and bear it, bro. You got to be willing to fire off combination after combination after combination, get hit, be willing to go through the fire round after round after round, because if you look at every other slick boxer puncher before him that's had to fight a pressure style, what did they have to do? They had heavy thudding shots behind them that's had actual power. What did they have to do? Look at Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard when it came to Tommy Hearns. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard when it came to Marvin Hagler. Look at shit. Macho Hector Camacho. Hella combinations on combinations. Because you got to be willing to soften that individual up, because there's a certain level of that thing that you just can't teach. And that is a chin, and that is just adrenaline, and a thing called fuck it. And some fighters have a little bit more of that than the next fighter, and they feel a little bit less than the next fighter. Unfortunately, finesse-style fighters who like to put combinations together and aren't necessarily capable of knocking people out, who have to soften you up at the touch of shot after shot after shot. That's the shit they got to do. We don't know if Caleb can do that yet. So that's why I see Caleb downfall. So every time I see him dodge this situation, time and time and time and time and time and time again, and you fighting once again a dude who just passed out mid-August, late early September. What the fuck does that say about you, man? You looking like a goofball out here. Sugarfoot. That's how your name about to change from Sweet Hands to Sugarfoot out this joint. That's what the boys are saying in the comments section. That's what the boys are saying in the comments section. Real rap. People looking at you crazy out here. They are looking at you crazy, loco. You live in La Vida loco, Sugarfoot. Dog, you get no more passes, bruh. You get no more passes. All of these short bus routines that this dude has been pulling, man, all of these magic tricks, man, all of this weird, wild Houdini shit. Hey, I look, honestly, I got to give him credit. I got to give him credit for getting away with it for this long. Because believe it or not, it trips me out, y'all. Y'all know we gonna fuck them up, man. Y'all know we gonna fuck them up. We different around here. We ain't holding no fighters' hands or nothing like that. We gonna break them all the way the fuck down. If they ain't doing right, we gonna fry them up. We gonna fry them up. On God and them. Talk to me nice. Absolutely. You should be ashamed of yourself for doing some shit like that. If you're gonna talk about David Benavidez saying you want to fight nothing but a champ or a mandatory and saying he got his belt off fighting Graville, how can you say that when you fought Utsukagi, Mike Lee, and Boots all back to back, and your voluntary was Mike Lee? If that's the case, you want equal footing. Your ground is looking a little shakier. But we know one thing more. But we know we can honestly say this, and this is all fact. Who is the more avoided fighter here? Who has always been the most avoided fighter of 168 in its current sitting? I'm just saying. When it comes to the motherfucking PBC, I hear a lot of Caleb Plant mentioned. I don't never hear Benavidez. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This nigga's a joke, man. He's a joke. And he's about to cruise his way to a Canelo fight to get beat the fuck up. Especially a fight getting the two fight contract with him, because I'm not sure if that shit is set in stone with the zone. Somebody can correct me if they know a little bit more than I do right now. I just ain't really did no digging into that. This nigga said finger in the butts. Yeah, man. This nigga for Vincent Faggy booty, man. Vincent Feigen booty, man. Like, what the fuck is this nigga doing out here, man? It's a whole lot of shit. And then before that, who was it? Porky Medina. Who else? Who else, man? This shit is like, yo, Toby Bartlett, salute. Luciano, salute, G. I think the only reason why Caleb feels like he is better is because Benavidez lost the belt because of weight issues, but Caleb Plant has fought nobody. Absolutely. Yeah, he might have lost his belt because of weight issues. He might have lost his belt because he did some drugs, but he didn't beat him the fuck up. I'm just saying, if all of these things you feel as though are relevant, if you feel as though he is not disciplined, he said it out his own mouth. Check his mental check his mental fortitude. Check Sugarfoot mental fortitude. He said that out his own mouth on Fight Hub recently. Within saying that, he said the only reason David got into boxing was to lose weight and stuck around because he's good at it. Well, that means he got God-given talent then, right? Because according to you, you've been having to build your shit time and time after time off repetition. Not speaking on your athletics. Technique through repetition, technique through repetition. That's how you were talking. So add the fact that he wasn't taking boxing serious a while ago with God-given talent, with the fact that he's taking it serious right now in thin air, up in Big Bear, up in the mountains right now, when he wants to tear the fur off of you, Sugarfoot. So I say that makes it somewhat of a problem for you, considering that you already acknowledging that he's the greatest offensive fighter currently at 168. That's how you feel. If that's how you feel. Nigga, you ain't fought a soul. Nigga, you wouldn't throw the way, the way this man record look right now, bro. I'm telling you right now, this nigga look like he wouldn't throw rice at a Chinese wedding, man. On my mama. On my mama. This nigga record is so trash, it looked like this fool wouldn't throw rice at a Chinese wedding. His last 4 opponents will make your face turn fucking vomit green, man. And this is the guy. Look, man. Honestly, I would rather Billy Joe Saunders fight Canelo, because if it comes down to it, shit. I mean, yeah, Sugarfoot look like he got sweet hands when it. Yeah, y'all, Sugarfoot look like he got sweet hands when it comes to fighting muff. When it comes to fighting, excuse me, y'all. Yeah, Sugarfoot look like he got sweet hands when it come to fighting Feigen Booty, when it come to fighting a Mike Lee who is straight up unadulterated garbage, when it comes to fighting Jose Yu, when it comes to fighting Porky Medina. Yeah, you look like you nice. But what I'm trying to say is, I would much rather Billy Joe Saunders be in that position to fight Canelo and him take the 2-fight deal over at the zone. And plus, I'm sure that contract is going to be much more hefty. So I'm sure he might swing that the zone route unless he really would take the less money just to get that IBF from fucking Sugarfoot plant over there. But what I'm saying is, we know that Billy Joe Saunders has fought a Chris Eubank. We know that Billy Joe Saunders has fought a Andy Lee. We know that Billy Joe Saunders has even fought a Gary fucking Spike O'Sullivan, which is a lot more to fucking say than I can say about that motherfucker over there. Shout out to Mike Lee. Shout out to Porky. Shout out to Jose Uzi Kagi. Could do this shit all day. All my life I could. Shout out to the whole motherfucking chat. We in here. We in here. We in here. Facts. He's never fought a fucking David Lemieux. Shout out to Frenchie. I can do this shit all day. Reaper Gang Radio, live and full in effect in the motherfucking morning. We going there. We going savage. Caleb Trax, man. You can't be proud of yourself knowing that you about to go in there and fight a guy that just fucking couldn't even make weight at 168. Struggled to make weight at 168. Dehydrated, almost passed the fuck out once again. Once again. I have to emphasize these things so I can implant this shit in your head so I can let you know. The guy that said he only wants, that's avoiding David Benavidez right now, who said he only wants to fight a champion or a mandatory, is fighting a guy who couldn't even make a fucking fight against Alfredo Angulo, who is 37 years old. Shout out to Caleb Trax. He is a great guy, former IBF champion. But I mean, damn. When was this shit? How long ago was this shit? We know that he is shot. Pow! Shot. I mean that with no disrespect. But he's shot. Caleb Trax hasn't shown us anything that to say he should get in the ring with a fucking champion. He hasn't done anything to get in the ring with a fucking champion right now. I'd say his days of fucking trying to be a champion are over. He should just be that guy to say, hey, we're throwing him in here, super tune-up guy. Not even super tune-up guy, average tune-up guy right now with credentials, with respectable credentials. It is though. It is though. That's definitely Caleb Plant's step up fight. That's probably the best fucking fight he's got on his resume. Shout out to Caleb Trax. Shout out to the Golden Boy. Yes. He passed the fuck out when he was going to fight Alfredo Angulo, bruh. Dehydration issues, bruh. Couldn't cut the fucking weight, man. The weight was a problem for him. And this is the same individual that's supposed to be going in here and fighting for the 168 title right now with Caleb Plant. And we already know that it's a fact. I don't know the fight date, but it's already established on boxing record. That's who he's fighting. It's been approved by the commission. So we do know that much. We do know that much. Proud father salute. Trax already lost to the Gill in his last fight, so there's no need to fight him. Absolutely. And all of that, I want to fight the best talk. Why did Caleb Plant? Caleb Plant never fought James DeGale. He was talking all of that shit. And he never fought Caleb Trax. This shit is 2 years old. This shit was supposed to happen almost 3 years ago. And he's talking about making it come to fruition right now. You tell me what fan is going to tune into that. That can't be a main event fight. You can't tell me that's going to top bill on any card. That can't be a main event fight. Who's going to fight? That's a co-main event fight all night. Facts. Facts. That's a co-main event or a co-main event. Facts. Facts. Come on, bro. IBH, salute. Like, yo, this shit. And the sad thing is, right, yo, like, I really, like, I hope Caleb Trax goes up in there and punches this motherfucker all up in his fucking face. But I just know that is just a fucking, that is just the furthest thing from fucking reality. But considering this is his step-up fight, and considering the way Jose Utsukagi was putting hands and feet all over his face, regardless of the fucking outcome, because he went 12 with him. And we got to think about this, too. This man has went damn near 12 with everybody he's fought. Now, I'm not saying knockouts make the world go round, but isn't this the business of selling the fight? His style is supposed to be appealing when it comes with the fact that you style on motherfuckers with slick, beautiful boxing, and you have the ability to put people on the floor after an accumulation of punches and bunches, correct? Well, all it is punches and bunches, a whole bunch of styling, and a bunch of feather fisting going on, man. I'm sorry, but I got to do this to him, man. I got to do this to him. He has skated for far too long on Easy Street, Novice Block, OK Alley. Right or wrong? Or am I just talking shit to be talking shit? And I highly doubt I'm just talking shit to be talking shit. We ain't doing that over here. Victor Bada salute. Exactly. All the pure boxing fans, all of the real boxing fans, all of the boxing fans that truly understand what they're looking out here, all of the boxing fans that won't be fucking taking for their fucking bread and be putting up money for fucking exhibition matches. While you bitching at Floyd for fighting fucking Logan Paul, a retired fighter who's making money off something that you know he's spent his entire career making money off of, and you fault him fucking for it. When you got motherfuckers putting on fucking Logan Paul level fucking matches as champions all day long. Hello. Hello. So if Floyd is getting the smoke for fighting the Logan Paul, why ain't these motherfuckers getting the fucking smoke for fighting the guy who just fucking passed out and fucking you fighting him in a championship match? That's equivalent to fucking to me. That is equivalent to Danny Garcia going out and fighting that one kid from Pennsylvania who was ranked like 71 in the world, who wasn't even a top 10 opponent, fighting for a WBC 140-pound title and Ring Magazine belt. And this dude ain't never even fought outside of an Amish barn in Pennsylvania. Ranked number 71 on his dirt road. Get the fuck out of here, man. And Teddy Atlas had to run that shit in the ground so bad that they had to make it a non-title fight, 10-rounder, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was that guy's name? I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But that's the type of shit. That's the type of shit that Caleb Plant is doing to me. Because clearly, Caleb Truax isn't in the best shape. And we know what dudes do for money, man. Like Gamboa, who was a great fighter. They got Gamboa running around here fighting all of these youngsters, getting beat the fuck up, blowing his fucking Achilles from standing up, just standing in the ring fighting these young dudes for a check, man. So we got to check these niggas when we know that these champions is fighting these other niggas solely that's only going out there for a whole check. And they trying to play the fans and the viewers for chumps. Nah, we not giving y'all the viewership. Because Caleb Plant should be the cream of the crop if he proved it. But once again, he is the sicky brown shit at the bottom of the barrel right now. I only talk this way when people have shown me this shit. I don't just talk about motherfuckers to talk about them. And like I tell people all the time that's got a problem with my vernacular, look, if you don't want me to talk this way about certain types of fighters, then maybe those certain types of fighters should do better for boxing and honor the sport of boxing. Because if you're not honoring boxing, then I got to dishonor you. Talk to me nice. This shit, oh my God, man. Caleb Trax and Caleb Plant equals a fucking cold fucking bowl of pork and beans. Caleb Trax versus Caleb Plant is a bologna sandwich with ketchup on it. Caleb Trax versus Caleb Plant is a mayonnaise sandwich. Caleb Plant versus Caleb Trax is 4 flat tires on a dump truck. Caleb Trax versus Caleb Plant is 32-inch rims on a late 1980s Crown Victoria, and all the bitch can do is turn left. And that's exactly what our whole mentality should be with that shit. Swipe left, dog the fuck out of them for even trying to try us like that. Because as boxing fans, they continuously try to try us with this bullshit. It's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I would like to see Caleb Plant fight David Benavidez. I would like to see Canelo go ahead and fight Avani Yildirim, and then come out of that, fight Billy Joe Saunders, and then boom, the winner of Benavidez versus Plant fights Canelo. I honestly fully agree with everything Demetrius Andre said. We got a lot of these fighters just one-off hoping to hit the quote-unquote Canelo lottery, you know, the shit that with the ball, throw the balls in the wheel, roll that shit over, and hope they get their hand picked. You know, that just shows with fucking Callum Smith and the way he was approaching his career at that fucking point, because clearly he was uninspired, because look at the opportunity there. That was I mean, let's be serious here. That was an opportunity to get an easy belt at that time. Because if you look at it from the way I'm looking at it, come on, guys. Fucking Callum Smith just went out there against fucking John Ryder. Before that, he fought shit. Just because I want to say the little dude, it looked like the Middle Eastern cat that he just fought. Before that, on the I believe it was the Anthony Joshua undercard. But anyway, what I'm saying is he just went out there and fought John Ryder, and he clearly fucking lost that fucking fight. And he was all the way uninspired to get in there and fucking play around and pity pat with a dude who you kept fucking trying to survive with that broke your motherfucking arm from the games you was playing in the fight. He was uninspired. I don't want to see this shit, man. Like, I would much rather it be like a Billy Joe Saunders than like a motherfucking David Benavidez. But once again, back to what I was saying, Demetrius Andrade is right. It's a lot of dudes trying to do the whole one-off shit, hope that they get that match instead of fighting each other, building each other resumes up, and motherfucking becoming what they need to become so you can stand next to them and have your own identity. Because a lot of these motherfucking fighters don't have their own identity standing next to them. Caleb Plant, that motherfucker is a fucking shrub. Fuck out of here, man. All these motherfuckers, for some reason, it's a lot of guys running through that. They're supposed to be top guys in their divisions, running around these boxing streets like fucking the fucking what? Who was the Cowardly Lion looking for some fucking heart? Andre, salute. Let me hear your thought on your boy. Oh, on Berchelt and Valdez. I got you. Berchelt versus Valdez. The one thing I can say about this fight is it's going to be an absolute firefight. So with Berchelt and Valdez, you're going to get every fucking thing that you want out of this fight because both of them are heavy on the offense, and we already know Oscar Valdez, he ain't the most defensive guy, and I don't give a fuck how much time he spent with fucking Eddie Reynoso. It ain't going to work out for him. Berchelt is just too much for this kid. And like I was saying on Twitter yesterday, his best bet would be to go ahead. He should have just fought Shakur at 126. Because coming up here and fighting Miguel Berchelt at 130, that fire style offense that he has, he's just going to keep throwing them right to left. The hooks to the body, the hooks upstairs, the devastating pop, because you could hear fucking Berchelt's fucking punches when we had crowds. He's going to smoke that boy. He's going to smoke that boy's boots. Snot box rocks. Snot box rocked. Snot box broke. Game over. Oscar Valdez will never, mark my words when I say this, and I'm not wishing this shit on this kid, but this is what I believe is going to happen to him. I truly believe that he will never be the same again after this fight. Berchelt is way too much for this boy, man. Remember, the smaller scorpions got the biggest sting, man. Shout out Miguel Berchelt. Shout out Oscar Valdez, man. I'll send flowers to the funeral. PBC is the death of competition in boxing. Fist salute. Absolutely. They ought to, but that's why, I think these other, look, you see that they stables are starting to thin out, bro. They starting to thin out. Like, people aren't starting to take to the PBC stable like that. And for the couple of dudes that signed, who the fuck raised you lately? Who the fuck raised you? Because god damn, when it come to fucking the meaning of life and lessons on it, you clearly missed it. A lot of the guys that really want to fight and that really want to move around and be able to make a lot of money and go on other promotional outfits and not have their career held back and be able to make a name for themselves as fighters, they're signing with promotional outfits where they truly have to fight. And for the ones that aren't, man, we see what they doing. We see how they posture. Shout out to the 6 rounds of posturing. Lomachenko. He don't got nothing to do with the PBC, just metaphorically speaking. I'm just saying. We see the ones who don't really want Warfish. We see what they do. Boxing Jedi salute, Brody. How you feeling? Tank versus Berchelt. Tank beats the shit out Berchelt. No, I take that back. Berchelt beats the shit out Tank at 130. There's a reason why Tank ain't fought, man. Look, there's a reason why Tank ain't fought Berchelt. There's a reason why Tank ain't fought Berchelt. I promise you, Tank gets his ass whooped by Berchelt. Look at what Leo Santa Cruz just did do motherfucking Tank Davis. Shout out to Mr. Simon Says Head. Shout out to Mr. Simon Says Head because motherfucking Leo Santa Cruz hands was touching the fuck out of that shit. Red, green, yellow, green, red. Simon Says Head. Yeah, shout out to that dude. Miguel Berchelt beats Tank. Tank uses no freaking offense. Tank uses no defense. And if Leo Santa Cruz can touch you up like that and you can show signs of being affected by it, birch kelp will knock you the fuck out and you will not wake up from it. And I don't care what nobody got to say about it. That's my opinion. Looking at what I've been seeing from Tank Davis, looking the way Tank Davis has gotten caught by old Gamboa with his hands down, what do you think Miguel Burchell to do to him? Tank doesn't even have a defense. We can't even talk about Tank's defense. Tank don't even have a superior level defense or okay level defense where we can say he can withstand the fact that Burchell is going to come at him like that. How is he going to negate it? That's why I feel like Burchell wins that fight right now. If Tank had slicks and Tank had the ability to move, and I can see Tank whether a full guy's firefight whose weight actually means something standing next to you, whose pop actually means something standing next to you, not a guy who is known for throwing 1,200 punches in a fight with fucking Abner Mares and them considered to be the wars of his fucking life. Not him. Then maybe I might think differently. But oh no, Alacrown's motherfucking Burchell Sting gets the job done. Salute to George's Doomslayer. Appreciate you on the super chat, Brody. Said just an excuse to give a super chat. Joe question. Caleb Plant versus Roy Jones. Look, man, that's the type of trolling shit that I like. Because we already know. The thing is, right? I wish Roy Jones would kind of, you know what I'm saying, like spar Caleb Plant right now. Do a light sparring session. Because then you would actually get to see real finesse versus fucking bullshit. You get to see real finesse versus the bullshit. And then maybe when he gets to see the shit after it's loaded up on every major freaking platform there is and stuff like that, and he gets to see that, hey, you know, a 50-plus-year-old man that just did 1.6 million pay-per-views against Mike Tyson has better flow and still has better movement than Caleb Plant, then people will start asking the questions. What are these dudes really doing in boxing? Can they really move the way they say they move? Are they really slick? Because I just watched Roy Jones outclass this man when it comes to movement and sparring at the age of 50 plus. Something ain't right here. And yeah, there's something a little murky in the motherfucking water. All right. Black and brown boxing, salute, brother. How you feeling? Jed Kyle, salute. For Valdez to beat Burchell, he would have to take his game to a new level we haven't seen. Exactly. Like, I haven't encountered a UFO or alien, or like I haven't seen a fucking comet with two fucking tails. So, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, that's some shit I've never seen. And so Oscar Valdez has no way of winning this fight because I don't see a fucking UFO fucking landing in my lawn and me going back on the fucking mothership like Frankie Beverly and Mays back in the day or some shit like that, or the Parliament no time fucking soon. Shout out to the funk. And those motherfuckers rocking those platforms with the motherfucking fish tanks in them, with the goldfish and shit. And no, I don't know nothing about that shit. I'm just talking shit. Easily with one hand tied behind his back. You know what I mean? For real, Roy Jones probably can look better, you know what I mean, defensively with both hands tied behind his back, just shifting the shoulders and shit like that. Like like this is the thing, like Roy Jones was so unorthodox, like as a fighter. Like he wasn't anything that you would take and have your child look at if he was just a fundamental fighter and you built him up by the book and you built him up by showing technique, because Roy Jones did everything off the cuff. He did everything unorthodox, the way he shot his jab, you know, even down to his movements, the way he set his feet and everything, even to the way he positioned his hands. Because truthfully, Roy Jones never kept his hands up by his chin. That was one of the Roy Jones' biggest flaws. The fact that he had a weak chin and the fact that he never kept his hands up high because he was so quick, because he always was athletically so superior to everybody that he put him in the ring with. Even the fucking James Toney, who was fucking, I felt as though one of the greatest slick fighters fucking ever. You know what I mean? Right up there with Sweet Pea, Roy, and all of them. He couldn't do nothing with Roy when them boys fought in their prime, and Roy made that shit look fucking pretty fucking easy. So that just shows you a guy like Roy Jones, like literally operated off of a lot of fucking confidence and a lot of God-given talent that a lot of fighters don't know nothing of. If Roy Jones really was a person who sat behind his technique and let, you know what I'm saying, and use this fluidity based off soul technique, nobody probably would have ever beat him in life. But that wasn't him. He was the show. He was like, you know what I'm saying, the black Hector Camacho. You know what I mean? Colorful in every sense of the motherfucking word. Had to put on the show, had to give you those flashy combinations, had to do that fucking Sugar Ray shit. Tank can easily catch him, but this is what I'm telling you, Arlet. Leo Santa Cruz was pretty much styling on that kid every fucking round in that fight up until the knockout came, you know, in the later rounds. And my whole thing is this. Miguel Berchelt is a true 130 pounder who probably hits harder than everybody in that, no, who undoubtedly hits harder than everybody in that division. And my whole thing is this. I haven't seen one person who's been able to breach this guy's offense. And we already know here's another problem with Berchelt versus Tank. Tank motherfucking has wind issues where Berchelt has none. Berchelt can go 12 rounds throwing the same fucking shots all night long. I don't see, hold on, I got a jet going over my house. I just don't see no way with Tank being as lackadaisy as he is defensively. I just don't see no way he beats him. As a matter of fact, I see Berchelt stopping him. My bad, y'all. My shit cut out. Yeah, I clipped the audio. I had a jet going over my house and shit. And motherfucking y'all wasn't even gonna be able to hear me because I was standing outside for a minute and shit. But now I'm back in. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Let me know if y'all can hear me. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, see, that's just my thing with that fight. At 130 right now, I'm you know what I mean, and I'm gonna ask y'all at 130 right now, who do y'all seeing winning between Berchelt and Tank? And for real, I'm gonna put the link in the joint for real. Anybody you know that wants to come up, we can have that conversation right now. 1 second. Post this comment. Yeah, man. And honestly, bro, that's a fight I like to see. That's a fight. That's a fight I would like to see for real because I don't see it going the way everybody think it'll go. I honestly think I got Burchelt smoking his boots for real. You know, and I think, and this is the problem. Like, realistically, I'm gonna ask you a question, Arlet. Okay, in the Leo Santa Cruz versus Tank Davis fight, and everybody, I'm asking all of y'all this question. In the Leo Santa Cruz versus Tank Davis fight, if that fight would have won 12 rounds, who would have won that fight? Honestly, no cap. If Leo Santa Cruz and Tank Davis would have won 12 rounds in that fight, who would have won that fight? That's what I'm saying. I think Leo would have won. To be perfectly honest, if I'm answering the question myself, I feel like Leo Santa Cruz would have won that fight. And that's the thing. If Tank Davis has to rely on going to fight with Miguel Burchelt to where if he catches him, he can knock him out, then that's a scenario that I don't realistically see in Tank necessarily winning. Because it ain't too many situations where I've seen, Burchelt in trouble, and Burchelt isn't known to have a questionable chin. And just once again, due to his offense, because his offense is so superior, like this dude, and it ain't because, and I like this dude so much because what I see from the kid. This kid's offense, and if nobody has really watched Miguel Burchelt, and you a fan of fucking boxing in a whole, if you love boxing and you love exciting special fighters that are just like, yo, this ain't just your normal kind of guy. He's a guy that you need to watch ASAP because he is that exceptional. His offense is that exceptional. Like, I just feel like he's just that one dude. Tank ain't gonna be able to just hope and wish with that dude. Tank is gonna be able to have to bring an element of finesse boxing and the ability to make sure that he protects his whole chin and neck so he don't get his bells rung. But after watching that Leo Santa Cruz fight right now, I just don't see Floyd Mayweather. I don't see the money team ever making that fight with Miguel Burchelt and fucking Tank. And for real, I think if I was Miguel Burchelt's team, if I was looking at him fight Leo Santa Cruz, that'd be a fight I'd take in a heartbeat. That's a fact. Like the dude just, man, not only is he fast, but he just hits so fucking hard, bro. Hard, bro. And it's just hard to match what he's doing because it ain't just like I'm pulling punches here, I'm pulling punches. Nah, he pulling punches, but he's smacking the shit out you at the same time. He'll pull punches in the middle of a combination, and then right after the shot that he pulled a punch, he just coming with another hard hook. Pow! Hit you on the body. Boom. Combination you up, then come upstairs, hook you. Like he's offensively, he just does everything so fucking well that I just never really had to see him in trouble defensively, man. Well, we all know that. You absolutely right. Tank would eventually break him down and finish him, but my whole thing is this, bro. With a Leo Santa Cruz, Tank could get away with that shit with. Now, would Tank be able to get away with getting hit upside his head like that with Miguel Burchelt in that same fashion? And clearly, I think, in my personal opinion, I think Miguel Burchelt's offensive attack is far more superior than Leo Santa Cruz's. That's why I feel like he wins the fight because I don't know if no, it ain't that I don't know. Tank Davis can't. He cannot go through that shit. He can't do that shit or get caught with that shit he got caught with by Leo Santa Cruz with damn Miguel Burchelt. Because it's night. Put your sleeping mask on. Grab your fucking Baltimore Snuggie because you going to sleep. I didn't say he couldn't win the fight. I just said I don't see him winning the fight. I don't see him winning it. Like I just see defensively, Tank isn't responsible enough to win that fight. And it's too much of a risk promotional wise. If I'm using my business sense and I'm looking at it from a fan sense, business wise, Tank shows too many holes in his defense and he got caught too many times and it looked real by a guy who don't have no power and a natural 126-pound fighter and Leo Santa Cruz. And take away that one beautiful shot that you caught him with. Tank Davis, if that fight would have won 12 rounds, going the way it went, I saw Tank losing that fight. Now, coming from a fan's perspective, when Miguel Burchell, the way he throws that shit, the way he don't get tired, the way I know Tank gets tired, and all of that shit, that's just not the fight that you want to make for Tank Davis. If anything, you would be looking in another direction. I would make a fight with no footwork having, suspect chin having Ryan Garcia before I make the fight with Miguel Burchell. And I'm gonna ask y'all that if you were Tank Davis promoter right now, which fight would you make? Which fight would you rather make right now? Miguel Burchell or Ryan Garcia? Facts. And that's the reason why he can't win that fight. Tank don't got the win Tank. Tank don't have the win Tank, and his chin is always open. I mean, this dude was getting popped all night. Like I feel like your daughter, your son, just walking up and just touching your face. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was that easy, you know what I'm saying, for him to be touched that night. So if it's that easy for Leo Santa Cruz, it's that easy for me for Burchell to do it. I would fucking send Ryan Garcia. I would have Tank fight Ryan Garcia right now before going for a real 130 title with Miguel Burchell, because I feel like if I was his promoter, I feel like that's the safer pick, and it's a better way to validate him being a guy at 135, considering Tank only been up there once, than fighting Miguel Burchell, because I feel like he has more of a shot of losing that fight, and Ryan Garcia has way more holes to be exposed than I'd say a Miguel Burchell right now. I just feel like that's a dangerous fight for Tank. But would I give Tank more credit for fighting Miguel Burchell than Ryan Garcia? Absolutely. And what I respect Tank, and what I say that Tank Davis needs to be put on a certain level of respect, and now would I be on that motherfucking Maryland like Tank like hype, like I would be riding that wave. I would have to support him, because I'd be like, that's a fight that if he makes it through that shit victorious, you can't do shit but respect him at this point. That's a fact. Jay, that's 100% true. Yeah, Ryan does have more upside if he wins that fight. You know, Ryan is definitely being propelled on a casual level to where if anybody's got like superstar power, where like Oscar De La Hoya wasn't really sweating like losing fucking Canelo, because technically the same thing that Oscar De La Hoya was and Tank and Canelo is right now, that's the same thing that Canelo can do for Ryan Garcia, and possibly do it a lot better, for real. Because the kid does have a confident attitude and is real charismatic. Can't take that away from him. And knocking out fucking Luke Campbell just made his stock go up in so many ways. Oh yeah, I would give him credit. I would give him credit for beating Ryan, but honestly, I feel like Ryan's a much easier fight than Miguel Burchell. Honestly, I don't feel like Ryan is at a point right now, because like this is the thing. I feel like if anything, Ryan would be given more credit. I don't know. Ryan would be given credit in taking on a Tank simply because I don't know how I want to put this. I don't know. People, I don't know. I think people will respect it because one, they would look at Luke Campbell and say, "Oh, well, he beat Luke Campbell," and then you know what I'm saying. So you would give, of course, people would give. I mean, he beat Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia beat Luke Campbell, so people want to give him credit. Me personally, what did I tell y'all before? Ryan Garcia even fought Luke Campbell? Word for word on both of my daughter's life. I said if Ryan Garcia doesn't knock Luke Campbell out, then I don't want to hear a fucking word about him because Luke Campbell ain't that dude. Luke Campbell trash to me. I said Luke Campbell is nothing. I didn't call him trash, but I said Luke Campbell is nothing special, and that's somebody that, as a kid, that's supposed to have a promise that he has. He's supposed to go out and do that shit in that fashion. And what did I pick? I picked for Luke Campbell to get knocked out. So what does that tell you? If all of those things happen, I wouldn't be able to give him the same respect that I would give him for beating a Burchelt because a Burchelt ain't easy in the regard to where Ryan Garcia beating Luke Campbell, that shit should have been easy. And it should have been way easier than Ryan made it. But of course, Luke's been in situations where Ryan hasn't even been in yet. So yeah, him going notches up and fighting Luke, I definitely give him his roses for that. And for doing what he was supposed to do. And why I'm saying, and what I mean by he better go out and knock him out, because there are certain things that I saw in Ryan Garcia. That's why I believe that he would go out and do what nobody gave him really the credit, or nobody really thought that he would go out there and do. So that just lets you guys know that I already saw certain things in him for him to go out and exploit weaknesses in a Luke Campbell that other fighters at his level wouldn't have been able to go out there and do. But for me personally, Luke Campbell doesn't do it for me. Luke Campbell just says, okay, he doing what he's supposed to do. Like Ryan Garcia got a lot of fucking holes in this shit. And them holes, what Tank Davis does, I think that Tank Davis can exploit those holes way better than he can exploit Burchell holes right now. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, man, it's just Luke Campbell just ain't that, bro. And that's why I was just like, yo, when he went out there and he got clipped in the second round, I'm like, okay. But then I was like, that was one thing. Because more importantly, when everybody was looking for Ryan Garcia to just go out there and win, for Ryan Garcia to go out there and have all of this trouble, I was looking to finally say, okay, this is just an opponent. Because realistically, I wanted it to be Jorge Linares, because I thought it would have been more adversity there, because Jorge's got better movement offensively and defensively than Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell is a stiff opponent who likes to sit up there and posture and levels and won't really commit to his attack per se. I felt like Jorge would have been it'd have been a different story for another level up in style. But for me, when that fight was made, all that fight said for me was, okay, I'm going to get to critique this guy finally. I'm finally going to get to critique Ryan. I'm going to get to see Ryan go through some rounds and face some level of adversity. But the level of adversity I thought that he would face wouldn't be enough to where it would ever put him in a position where it'd say he can lose this fight. I never thought that. So that's why it's just like when people might think that I'm being hard on Ryan Garcia. No, it's not that. It's just that I was never high on Luke Campbell. I always thought that Ryan has the potential of being, a top-notch blue chip prospect, and I saw that in him. So that's where my prediction comes from. But what Ryan does in his next fight and who Ryan fight is what I'm really looking for. His next level of competition is what I'm looking for, because I think that I saw a lot more holes in his game and people were giving him a lot of praise. Like, his feet were awful. His chin was out there 24/7. And the combination, he kept putting the same combinations together over and over and over, and it made it predictable. Not until he threw that haymaker will he change levels from the top to the bottom and hit him in the body. That's where he called him differently, because Ryan Garcia wasn't really committing to the body. He was more like pot shotting at the gut. He wasn't really driving his combinations through the body on a level to where you could say it was having a lot of effect. He was susceptible to getting cracked with that little with that little southpaw. I mean, with that little fucking with that little left hand, he was getting caught with that left hand over the top, that little left hook over the top, like on a regular basis. I felt like that's something that he should have been ready for, and he wasn't probing with he wasn't probing with the opposite hand, putting it up, making sure that he blocked it. He didn't have his fucking he didn't have the telephone up to his ear. I just saw a lot of things in Ryan that I was just like, okay, a person with movement, a person who all Luke Campbell had to do was pivot and put some combinations together. And I felt like Ryan would have been going through hell that night. I agree with that. I agree with that. I believe the Tank has more to upside. I think that a Tank that comes in discipline, a Tank that comes in taking that fight camp serious, and a Tank that comes in discipline, locked in every round, more or less with the athletic conditioning, I feel like Tank wins that fight. I feel like Tank wins that fight. And I just think that it's still people are wanting to put so much more into Ryan Garcia's performance right there that we're forgetting that Tank at the age of what went out there and beat the shit out Jose Pedraza, who made it, you know what I'm saying, who gave motherfucking Lomachenko hell. You know what I'm saying? Tank Davis was everything that a blue chip prospect was when he first came into the game. And I don't think that, Luke Campbell Luke Campbell hasn't shown the levels that Tank has shown when it came to being a champion at young age, at the tender age of what, 22? Yeah. T.O. beats Tank. That's no question. But see, T.O., a different type of fighter than Ryan Garcia, too. T.O. knows how to be slick. T.O. knows how to use his feet, and T.O. knows how to use that motherfucking Philly shell. And the Philly shell is proficient so you can roll off a shot and counter back with a slingshot right hand or a slingshot hook. And Tiafimo knows how to crack with that hook and knows how to crack off that slingshot pull counter from that Philly shell masterfully. So, and he did a great job using it against Lomachenko. So I feel like, yeah, Tank would be in a lot of trouble because with Tank's lack of defense once again, going off of his last couple of opponents, he wouldn't want to take he wouldn't want to take To's pop. To's getting to the point to where 130 can't be his resting spot. I think Canelo and Eddie going to show Ryan his mistake and will definitely work on it in the jump. Absolutely. And that's what I said in the gray area too, Toby. Because if you look at the shot that he knocked Luke Campbell out, that was Canelo's hook. That was the same body shot that Canelo um hit Sergey Kovalev with before he took him out the game with the fucking hook upstairs. Or was it a hook upstairs and a body shot? No, I believe it was a hook upstairs, a hook downstairs to soften his body up, and he came upstairs. Well, either way, that hook that Canelo hit Kovalev with is the same exact shot, and it was identical to what fucking Ryan Garcia hit with Luke Campbell. So I believe that if Canelo's watching this fight and once again has a say in his ear, he's looking at that situation and he needs to go back and he needs to tell Ryan Garcia. And I was saying this in the gray area as well. Ryan Garcia needs to look at all of the things Canelo does well and adapt to that shit. Because if he'll never be a slick defender on his feet. He'll never have, you know what I'm saying, the most finesse footwork in any way, shape, or form. So he needs to look at Oscar De La Hoya's old career so he can operate off what little bounce Oscar De La Hoya did have and not being the most fluent guy with his feet. And look how Canelo works well within the range of knowing that he's a flat-footed fighter and he doesn't have the greatest footwork. He's mastered being mid-range and he's mastered just cutting off and scooting closer and always staying mid-range to the fighter and just working the shoulder movement left and right and knowing how to bob and weave up top with the top half of his body so he can just be within range to do effective damage with his punches upstairs and downstairs. You'll never find Canelo out of range. Even when the shit when he fought Laura had hella slicks. Canelo had to run him down. Canelo ran him down, even though I felt like Laura won that fight by, it was 7-5 Laura, I felt like, but Canelo ran him down, changed the perception where Laura should have been doing more punching and posturing. Canelo ran him down, cut off the range, hooked him at the body. But so Canelo wouldn't find himself in that same trouble again. He learned from that and learning to always push on the front foot, stay close mid-range to never outside of in range to where he can work his reach and effective, an effective punch accumulation and damage. That way he can, what I'm saying, just use his shoulder movement to the best of his ability. Canelo never works outside of that realm. That's what Ryan Garcia needs to learn. He needs to learn to take his footwork, stay mid-range to where he can work within the realm of that beautiful jab and that beautiful firing hook that he fires from the right on a regular basis. So that way he's never really out of range and just working, just using his, because he's already a tall kid at 135. So we can use that range, back off, work it, and just always stay in the distance of the kill, where, because in most cases the other guy's going to have to reach just to try to attack Ryan. Ryan's not going to have those same problems. So I think he definitely should look at Canelo and learn that. And Eddie Reynoso should be telling him that, because I think, there's this school of thought that when it comes to, what I'm saying, trainers like K. Karoma and Eddie Reynoso, to where it's like, you take all of these front-footed fighters and you try to make them slick, but that doesn't work for everybody. You're gonna take a fighter and you're gonna motherfucking shock his confidence in the middle of his career, and he's gonna find out that this thing isn't working for him as well as his original proficient style. And instead of molding that and making that better and making him work within those ranges, you're trying to completely change the style of the fighter. A Jaime Munguia is never going to be a fucking light-footed fucking back-footed fighter. Fucking a Jared Hurd is never gonna be that guy. Ryan Garcia should learn to just fucking operate off of his fucking range, like I said, and learn from Canelo, and it should just be that. Because you're never gonna make those things out of these guys, man. You just gotta mold them and just make them better at what they already are. Spartan salute. See if Emo gonna blow the turd off the tank if they fight. That's a fact. That's a fact. I just feel like T.O. with just Tank's a small what? 5'7". He's a little dude with a short reach, man. Teofimo's just going to be able to lay and just slingshot off of that counter off of him and beat him up. And the beautiful thing about that motherfucking Philly shell, man, it sets up a free-flowing uppercut. The one that Tank loves to use so well, fucking Teofimo let her use that bitch too. And Tank will find himself walking up into that shit. Ziggy Zane salute. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But like I said, once again, that is a fight that just coming up and just random in just this conversation. And I feel like that really, that's a career defining fight right there. Tank Davis versus Miguel Berchelt is a career defining fight of two amazing styles from two amazing fucking fighters that pack a hell of a wallet, man. That when we go back and look on, when we look back on on history and shit like that, have those nostalgic moments, you'll look at that fight and that'll be one of the ones that truly defined a era in boxing, whether it's going to be great or whether it's going to be mediocre. But it's necessarily going to be fights like that that are going to make boxing what it's supposed to be. If fights like that happen, that's the shit that'll make boxing definitely what it needs to be, because that's the type of shit that motherfuckers need to see, man. And that's the shit that the game definitely needs. I'm talking about, you definitely gonna have it. The bets at Vegas is gonna be fucking probably split straight down the fucking middle. And when it just comes to the styles, man, all I can say is, man, that's just pure popcorn and entertainment right there, man. Tank Davis versus Miguel Berchelt. I'm telling y'all right now, I don't give a fuck if I had a bill coming up and I couldn't motherfucking pay both. That motherfucking bill might get kicked on the back burner for a motherfucking week with a hell of an excuse just to watch that fight. Well, fucking, I think I got a 5-stick. I'll 5-stick that motherfucker if I had to. But that's the type of fight, allegedly. But that's the type of fight that is worth your bottom dollar right there. Like my man AB say, on God and them. Motherfucking dang, ain't AB fighting in February? Who the fuck is this nigga fighting? Yeah, man. Fucking, but yeah, man. Oscar Valdez dies on motherfucking February 20th, I believe. So if anybody sure, I believe that Valdez versus Burchell is officially going down February 20th. And if anybody didn't know, I can give y'all, if anybody needs some information, I can give y'all a number to your local florist or whatever, so y'all can send roses or flowers, lilies, whatever the fuck y'all gonna send to the Valdez family, cause that nigga's going all the way night night. You know what I mean? So he can have a nice little floral arrangement for his motherfucking funeral, because we're gonna have the floral arrangements outside the motherfucking ring, and we're gonna have the stretcher right on the side of the stairs, because that's how he coming out that motherfucker, and that's how he coming up off of it. As we always say at the end of this shit, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. This is Reaper Gang Radio, Volume 6. Salute.